Next thing I want to talk about, so I sent you a link this morning to kind of look over, and we'll go over this a little bit. But I've talked about this in a video before, and I think I've talked about it on a podcast, but PB Vision is a website that does, like, you upload game footage, and it does analytics of your match, and it does a lot of really cool things. And it was already pretty cool. It would have been like spring of this year, one of the first times I messed with it. It's when I went to the US Open. And it was already pretty cool, but you could tell certain things were limited. Now PB Vision is really cool. It's not perfect. There's definitely some flaws with it, but it's gotten extremely cool. So one of the things it does, and we'll pop up B-roll so you guys can kind of see some of this, but it has what they're calling the Shot Explorer, and I think this is probably the most valuable thing of this tool by a long shot right now. So let's say you record a bunch of games. Let's say you record 3 games, and you just know that day your backhand drop was terrible. Well, finding every single backhand drop and getting to watch them sucks. Even as someone
lot of time
that edits videos and can do that reasonably quickly, that is going to take a while, and it's going to be really annoying. With this, the Shot Explorer, you can click on all the different people, and you can filter by anything you want from each of them. So, like, you could filter backhand third shot drops. You could filter backhand return, forehand return. Like, you can kind of filter by almost anything.
Pretty much.
It has a lot of options. But then what it does is after you do that filter, so let's say I selected me, backhand drop. Now I can see all my backhand drops from that match and figure out what the heck I did wrong, and I can watch them all back. So I think that is really cool because there's so many different ways you can filter. You can also filter by, like, the last shot of a rally for each player. So you could kind of see, like, were you getting attacked? Were you making unforced errors? Like, I think there's cool ways to kind of, it just makes everything faster. When I watch my videos back, it takes forever to do this.
Yes. And sometimes it's nice because when you're just watching raw footage, it's easy to just, like, miss things. And, like, where you messed up and whatnot. This will just tell you, like, you either hit a good shot, a bad shot, like how deep are you hitting your serve returns? Is it good,
percentages.
bad? Your percentages, like I'm looking at it right now. Okay, I'm looking at my profile for this match that we put in here. My shot accuracy was 92%.
For which shot, though?
Just overall match.
Oh,
the
just
overall match, my shot accuracy was 92%. I think I hit 5% of my shots into the net. It shows me my court coverage distance, and it gives a cool, like, top-down heat map of where my movement was on the court, which I thought was pretty cool. So it gives you a ton of stuff. And then a new feature that I've seen now is it gives you a 3D view of the court for your third shots. So you can adjust an angled view, a top-down view, and it gives you the path.
You can even, like, just zoom around.
You can just,
like,
you can spin it around. I thought
and
that was actually...
it'll show you, like, the arc of that shot. And the nice thing is, if you look at that, you can actually change it from third shots to returns, fifths, and I think there might be 1 or 2 other options. But that's really cool because, one, it could show you, like, okay, what was your serve return pattern in this match? Where were you tending to drop? How high were some of these drops? And if PB Vision thinks it's bad, it will mark it in red. So whether that was an error or it was high or whatever, like, and then you can tap on the little dot in that view and it'll take you to that point to watch. So the whole thing is extremely cool. I mean, even for me, what it immediately made me think of is, okay, I can see my serve depth and return percentage. Those 2 things alone, I was like, this is, if I see, let's just say, like, only 30% were deep, well, then I probably know I should start serving or returning deeper. And if I record the next match and see I successfully did that, you could also probably see that your third percentage went up because you were getting weaker returns back or, you know, whatever. So I think that's really cool.
It is really nice, like, just as a training tool, you put in a match and then you recognize, like, hey, I'm hitting, my backhand dink is off or my return spot is off, like where you're trying to return to. And then you go play another match and it will tell you in real time whether you adjusted appropriately and, like, did it well. Like, that's what I like the most about it, is seeing if you did things well or not. And it just tells you right away instead of, like, having to go back, cut through footage, watch it all. It just takes way too much time. This is really nice. I actually really like it, but there's a few... It's not perfect.
Yeah, there's definitely still some bugs. I'm making a little document for them right now with just, like, as I was going through some of my matches this week, some bugs I noticed. And it's not really worth going over a lot of them, but there's just certain things where like 1 or 2 times it would think I hit a shot, but it was actually my partner. And I can see why I got confused because the way the camera was, like we were both right next to each other and we both kind of swung.
Yep.
So you can't really see. So like, I'm sure for the AI to figure that out, it's going to take a lot more data and time to get there. And then there's just certain bugs about like, I would set playback speed on desktop to slower to see my shots better. And then it would reset back to normal speed. I'm sure it's all things that'll get figured out.
It's also kind of choppy sometimes when I try to go to the shot explorer and I would click on a shot and I'd try to watch it back, but it was really jumpy and choppy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that wasn't great, but I'm
One
sure
thing that
these things
helps
will get
too,
fixed.
I don't know if you did this, but so in the shot explorer, you can set like, if you said, show me all my third shot drops, you can say, show me 1 shot before the third shot drop, 2 shots before and 3. Yep. And what I find is it's best to say 2 shots before and like 2 shots after and then slow it down because then you can see the whole thing leading up and it feels like a better...
it flows better.
It flows better. I actually think the default should show you... Shot Explorer should always default to 2 shots before and 2 shots after.
Yep.
Because I think it just makes it way easier to watch. Because sometimes the shots go by so fast that you're like, whoa, I don't even know what I just watched.
Exactly. You have no clue what happened. And it's kind of cool now, like instead of just having just the footage of you seeing a shot, there's a lot of animations on screen and like it just looks nicer.
Yeah.
There's things to like make it more eye appealing. So far it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I have a feeling that, I'm sure we'll get a lot of use out of this.
Yeah, I'm going to start uploading more and more of my matches. One thing I actually noticed this week, looking at a couple of my matches from League, is that I think my fifths are oddly kind of weak. Like on most of my matches, I can't remember what they call it. Basically, just like how good they thought that shot was
shot
pretty...
quality?
Yeah, shot quality was pretty low. I think I was like 50, 60%. And I was like, I don't know if that's normal for me or if I just had an off day, but I was like, fifth is not a shot that I would have thought in my head I was not. I just don't even think about it. You know what I mean?
Right. I actually was, funny enough, having a conversation with Kyle Kazuto about that the other day. Excuse me. He sent out a text to, I guess, a bunch of people just asking, like, what do you think you need to get better at? And I was talking about that. I was like, well, you start getting to the higher level that you're like, your opponent's fourth shot gets way more aggressive and getting to the kitchen obviously gets way harder. So I was actually just talking about fifth shots. And that's,
nice.
It's definitely something you don't think about often, but when you do, you realize it's probably not a shot you're very good at.
Yeah, totally. So, no, I thought that was pretty interesting. Definitely check PB Vision out. I'm pretty sure it's free right now. I don't even think they're charging for it, to my knowledge. So there's really no reason not to try it. You get a phone tripod. They have information on the website. You have to be able to see the entire court from like a corner view, so you can't cut off parts of the baseline when you film. But give it a shot because I think it's really cool. And I think if you're a serious pickleball player, like a tournament player, this is a tool that could make improving a lot faster.
If you already like going back and watching game footage, this will just make your life 10 times easier.
Yeah, way easier.
Like infinitely easier.
Yeah, 100%.